Mitakia pi trokahel le ampetu ki le chantehe taha. Iuski anape ochius papelo le miecha ikrancho la tipi. Ektawa hi na mazashkanshka oapre wanji lakotia woglakapi na lakrowichoch aki hena nupi iwagla kinkta yalo. Duecha tukteta ha nach una kapi ki hena wopila tranka iprelo. My relatives, first of all, on this day, from my heart, I extend my handshake in a happy way. This is me. I have come to the radio station, and for 1 hour, I will speak upon both the Lakota language and culture. Those that from wherever you are listening, I give you my words of thanks. Today is the August 12th, 2026. Lakota Cultural Program. My name is Dana Dupree. This is the 36th episode. I like to call them episodes. Could be a chapter. And we welcome you here to our show again. Today is a very beautiful day. I'd like to review last week at our last program. I did some intro. We had a little prayer. Talked about an article in the West River Eagle that addressed grieving, and also went from my little red book. I have a red book with it's a 3-ring binder that has 10 lessons, and I did find some information on mourning process, grief. So I shared that. Then jumped into lesson 3 of Hetchetuyalo, which is a student manual published by Oglala Lakota College, and it addressed gender and speech patterns. And this manual was published January 1989. Then we got into some stories. I believe there was a series of stories from the bilingual program, Shining Butte School, and I think that was in the 70s, but they were probably published in the 80s. And there are different levels, the Indian reading series, and so there was stories and legends of the Northwest, and these are collected by the bilingual program, Title 7, I believe it was, and so I have those in my possession in my little library. And from time to time, I run into information like this, so I just want to share that with you, and just to give you an idea of what other tribes have for stories. And the stories that I read, there was a series of them, and How Birds Learn to Fly, Thunderbird and the Mosquito, The Crow, How Wildcat and Coyote Tricked Each Other, and then finished with how Cottontail lost his fingers. Why that Cottontail? And I would like to continue on with the Serenity Prayer. Tunkashila wachwala makuo, daku waglutrokja oakihishni, hena omakyayo. Daku waglutrokja oakihi, hena washake makuo. Na omakyaki lena woksape, wagluhakta yelo. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. And again, the key phrase, or a key phrase, is hektakia akupo. Keep coming back, keep coming back. And that's the Sidney Keith version of the interpretation of the Serenity Prayer. And I did a little Wobelechang. I kind of use English and Lakota and put a ending. And but I did Wobelecha, and I look at my trusty little partners, traveling partners. It's a Sioux dictionary from the Sioux Nation Arts Council, Eagle Butte, South Dakota, and it's English translation for everyday Sioux words. And I'd like to remind you that I believe we don't use Sioux anymore. We use Lakota. And then from this little pocket dictionary that was published here in Eagle Butte, there was another one that was developed again by Sidney Keith under his direction, and it's the orthography, English to Lakota Dictionary, and it published in 1997. And I was trying to see the publication date of this first one, and I'm not sure. I did mention it previously, but it's an old document. These are old documents, or I guess publications. And then I did have my Everyday Lakota and English Sioux Dictionary for Beginners, and that was published in down south of us in Shichanghu. The first edition was April 1974. The Rosebud Educational Society, 1971 copyright, St. Francis Mission, St. Francis, South Dakota. So we use this for some of the early sentences, phrases commonly used. And so we went through a series of those. And then as time goes on, we're going to use up all of the resources, or I'm going to use them up, which would be good, because I made up, I'll have to find a term for it, but I'm going to go back through this material and I'm going to roll it over is the term I'm going to use. And what I'm going to do is use the same context, composition, but change a few things around and use the same, the same template or similar, or I guess the same conversation piece, and create more sentences. And I did have, as I was preparing for this program, I have to keep reminding myself not to repeat, and washicha, redundant. That's a big word. I never knew what that meant. I guess it's just repeating yourself over and over. So I looked at all the stories that I shared on the program. I have a running total, and the first list I had, there was 60, and unofficially, and then there was 64 that I counted. So from there, I added more stories to the list, and now I have 82 stories that I'll finish with today, or I have finished previous to today. So we're going to have some more today, some more stories. I think there might be a series of 4 of them, and so that is an insight, So you think about 82 stories, and what can you learn from 82 stories? You learn about culture, you learn about other people, other tribes. And that's something that I really value is that recently I got to visit some visitors that came to our reservation and got to meet some people, and they knew me better than I knew myself, some of them. So they said, remember you said this, remember you said that. So Chinkishni, I had to agree. I said, yeah, I said that. Or maybe I did. I can't remember. But so be careful how you use your words, because people are listening. Ata nahuna kapelo. Waktapo, you might say, my kolas over there sitting on the hill by Ash Creek, they're probably saying, talking about basketball days. Yahani and Trapskatak, Lila. Okilita, it was really good times when we were playing. But we have to, as we grow older, the more we tell our stories, the more points we score, the more blocks we made, the more steals we stole, or more balls we stole. And that's just, I guess, human nature. So right now, my kolas are probably sitting up on the hill, my misunkala and my toshka, excuse me. They're probably talking about back in the day when they could score donut points a game and not even drop a bead of sweat. But the only thing that I can say is that even back then, up until today, is defense. At the defense, you're not going to win if you don't play defense. Because you're always saying, trappa mak'or, humakya. Let's see, pass that ball. And, but, we're all capable of scoring in double figures at any given moment, so to speak. But those of you that are listening, I know I've seen some of you in a recent time making good comment about the show and tuning in, and that's good. That's what this program is for, is, if you're just beginning to learn Lakota, it's always good to have a starting point. And you shouldn't be, forced to do that. You shouldn't be scared to do that. You should enjoy yourself while doing it. And those are things that come with the process of change. If you want to change or if you want to improve yourself, then it takes a little bit of courage. And support from your people, your kolas, your friends. And they say, that you can do it. They're there for you. And they believe in what you do. They believe in what you can do. And so that's something that's good. Good to know, good to have, is a good support system. I know I have a family back home, and they're pretty good at supporting what I do. A lot of times I end up in places that I never planned on going, but I had a good time. And I go home and I share stories of what I've done or where I went. There's body types. I was going to talk a little bit about body types today, and this is just from when I was a trainer doing workshops throughout the state of North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, and parts of Minnesota. And we had a training program. And then we moved to a bigger area, a 10-state area, and headquartered out of Chicago. And it was all native, or not, mostly native, but sometimes we did trainings in the statewide state agencies. So, but more and more it was geared for native tribes, native communities, and having to deal with working with children, working with prevention of drugs and alcohol, helping people if they want to become counselors, they could do that. And a lot of reading, and some of the trainings that we attended, we had keynote speakers, and they had developed curriculum. They wrote books on their research, and there was one about body types, morphines, or something like that. Oh, phonemes, and I'm probably saying it wrong too, phonemes. And there's 3 body types. There's the ectomorph, the mesomorph, and the endomorph. And there's a breakdown of each of these body types. And you probably fit into one more, but they say you could be a combination of 1 or 2, or maybe, if you're lucky, all 3 of them. So the first one is an ectomorph, and that's kind of a loner, someone that's not social. They stay away from the social circles. They're probably in a library, or they're sitting alone. When they go to school, they're probably all by themselves, but they're really good students. But they know what their limits are, know what they're capable of doing. And so what they do is and I say they, us, or we. So ectomorph is more like a studious type, intellectual. Might be wearing glasses, might be kind of like a scholar type. But they're not very social people. Okay. And that's good too. And then the second one is called a mesomorph. And I guess getting back to the ectomorph, they're kind of frail looking, they're kind of slender, and they're kind of stretched out, and they look like the wind could blow them over at any time if there was a strong wind. So that was their body type, And then the mesomorph is the middle one, and they're all like raw power. They're like muscular and, physically fit, and they're really active, and they're always, busy, and they don't hesitate. They just head right into any kind of activity. So we identify them as like athletes, I guess, and they have that attitude of just heading on, going into a situation without hesitation. And so that's the mesomorph. And then the endomorph is kind of, so the mesomorph is kind of all muscular, really strong. And the endomorph is the last body type that they talk about, kind of soft around the edges, and is really social, likes to talk, likes to visit, likes to watch TV and listen to music, and just enjoys that socialization. And so they're kind of good to have, if you want to fill up the room with some noise or some laughter, they're really happy too. And so those are the endomorph is what you call it, and so that's the social butterfly is what they call them, but they're kind of a little bigger, little round. They're not like hard and rigid like the mesomorph. They're kind of soft and they might be a little bigger than the other body forms, but they like to eat too. So you think about yourself. Which one do you fit in? And again, keep in mind that you're a combination of one or two of them, or maybe even all three if you're lucky. But and it could be a progression through time too. Like you might start off at one body type and then end up at another one, because if you live a long time, your body goes through changes too. So, but it was fun to kind of assess ourselves and see which one we are. And I'm still I like to say I'm the ectomorph, but I'm not that studious, or I like to read. I have books. I like to read books. Yesterday I was laying around reading books, and my takosa came to lay down beside me, and she had her tablet, but she's probably wondering, what the heck's Grandpa doing, reading a book in the middle of the afternoon? But and I like reading books, and I like doing research, and studying things, and I used to be active at one time, mesomorph, so I like to, but my body condition was prevented me from doing contact sports, too many contact sports. And then I was probably not a very social person. I would be the one sitting in the corner watching the strobe lights or at a dance. We had social hour in a boarding school, and a lot of times our people would line the walls of the basement because they had a social hour in the basement. And out in the middle, they had the dancers, and then they had I think sometimes they had a live band, or they had a record player going, and some lights flashing, and we just, or I just stood there and watched the lights and watched people dance. And there was a guy that came from another school, and he taught us how to do different dances, the line dance and all that. Before they had line dancing, country and western, there's the stroll, I think they call it, and a two-step, and all kinds of good stuff. But again, it's if you have confidence in yourself, you could do things, and it's good to have some kind of recreation, enjoyment. But I just want to share that with you as just a filler, and think about body types. Look at yourself, and which one am I? Which body type would I fit into? Ectomorph, mesomorph, or endomorph? And like I said, you could be a combination of two or more, one or two or more. So we're going to go into the next part is Hechitu Yalo, which is the student manual. And this one's going to take some time, so hopefully I'll get through this. And it's the lesson 4, and that's kinship terms, immediate family. And if I mispronounce some words, I apologize. I have my boarding school or my IHS glasses, and they're kind of scratched up. And If I mispronounce, I'm still learning to. Naoshi, I'm trying to teach myself more so that when I reach that level of, I don't know what level I'm looking for, but I know it's not going to be conversational. Probably just semi-fluent. Maybe, I don't know. Lakota is rich in the expression of relationships. Men and women often use entirely different words for the same degree of relationship. These words cannot be interchanged. The children of a family apply the word father, ate, to both their real father and all of his brothers, and are called children by them. In a like manner, they address as mother, Ina, both their real biological mother and all her sisters, and are called children by them. Only the sisters of one's father are called aunt or tui, and only the brothers of one's mother are called uncles or lexi. So that's something to remember. The sons and daughters of two or more brothers are consequently brothers and sisters to one another, and the children of two or more sisters are likewise brothers and sisters to one another. Hence, only the children of brothers and sisters are cousins to one another. So that sounds like a handful there, but through time we'll figure this out. And if you come from big families, you got a lot of brothers and sisters, or big tioshbais. Relationships as expressed by males and females. Grandfather. Both males and females would say Tunkashila, grandfather. Mi Tunkashila, or Tunkashila ki, my grandfather. Ni Tunkashila ki, your grandfather. Tunkashituku ki, his or her grandfather. Tunkashilaya, to have for a grandfather. Grandmother, both males and females would say unchi, grandmother. Unchiki, or unchiwayeki, my grandmother. Nikunshiki, your grandmother. Kunshitku ki, his or her grandmother. Unchia, to have as a grandmother. Father, ate, father. Ateki, or atewayeki, my father. Niyateki, your father. Atkukuki, his or her father. Atea, to have for a father. Mother, ina, mother. Inaki, or inawayeki, my mother. Nihunki, your mother. Hunkuki, his or her mother. Inaya, to have for a mother. Child, either a son or a daughter. Mi chinchaki, my child. Ni chinchaki, your child. Chinchaki, his or her child. Unki chinchaki, our child. Oki chinchapi ki, unki chinchapi ki, our children. Ni chinchapi ki, your children. Chinchapi ki, their children. Chinchaya, to have for a child. Next one is grandchild. Thakoja, grandchild. Mi thakojaki, my grandchild. Ni thakojaki, your grandchild. Thakoja kpaku ki, his or her grandchild. Thakojaya, to have as a grandchild. Son, chinks, or chinksy, son. Mi chinksy, or mi chinksiki, my son. Ni chinksy ki, your son. Chinchaki, or chinksitkuki, or chinksitkuki, his or her son. Chinksia, to have for a son. Daughter, chunks, or chunksy, daughter. Mi chunksy, or mi chunksy ki, my daughter. Ni chunks ki, your daughter. Chuintku ki, his or her daughter. Chunksia, to have for a daughter. Next one is husband. A female would say, mi hignaki, my husband. Ni hignaki, your husband. Hignakuki, her husband. Hignaya, to have for a husband. Wife, a male would say mitawi, or mitawichuki, my wife. Nitawi, or nitawichuki, your wife. Tawichuki, his wife. Tawichuya, to have for a wife. A male's older brother. Chia, older brother. Chia or chiewayeki. My older brother. Ni chieki, your older brother. Chiek oki, his older brother. Chieya, to have for an older brother. Now we're getting into a female's older brother. Tibalo, older brother. Tiblo or metiblo ki. my older brother. Ni Tibloki, your older brother. Tibloki, her older brother. Tibloya, to have for an older brother. Younger brother, both male and female would say misun, younger brother. Misunkalaki, my younger brother. Nisunkalaki, your younger brother. Sunkaku-ki, his or her younger brother. Sunkaya, to have for a younger brother. We have a few more examples. A male's older sister, tranke, older sister. Mi trankeki, my older sister. Ni trankeki, your older sister. Trankeku-ki, his older sister. Trankeya, to have for an older sister. A female's older sister, chue, older sister. Chueki, or chuewayeki, my older sister. Ni chueki, your older sister. Chueku-ki, her older sister. Chueya, to have for an older sister. Now we get into a younger sister. A male would say trankshi, younger sister. Mi trankshi-ki, my younger sister. Ni tranksheki, your younger sister. Trankshitku-ki, his or her younger sister. Trankshiya, to have for a younger sister. Younger sister, a female would say tranka, younger sister. Mi tranka-ki, or trankawayeki, my younger sister. Ni tranka-ki, your younger sister. Trankaku-ki, her younger sister. Trankaya, to have for a younger sister. The following are verbs that can be used with previous kinship terms. These verbs express a form of motion such as arriving, coming, or going at different places. And they call them verbal conjugations. Iyaya is past tense of to go. Iyaya. Iblabla. I went. Or you can put a E at the end and you say iblable. I went. Ilala, you went. Or you can put an E at the end and say ilale, you went. Iyaya, he or she went. Or you can put an E at the end and say iyaye. Iyayapi, they went. Ilalapi, you all went. Unkiyayapi, we all went. Next verbal conjugation is ya. Present tense of to go. Blah, I am going. Or you can put an E at the end and say bleh, I am going. La, you are going. Or you can put an E at the end and say le, you are going. Ya, he or she is going. Or you put an E at the end and say yeah. Yapi, they are going. Lapi, lapi, you all are going. Unyapi, unyapi, we all are going. Next verbal conjugation is yinkte, yinkte. Future tense of to go. Yinkte, maninkte, maninkte, I will go. Ninkte, ninkte, you will go with the N. Yinkte, yinkte, he or she will go. Yapikte, yapikte, they will go. Lapikte, lapikte, all of you will go. Uyapikte, uyapikte, we all will go. The past and future tense of to go in the first, second, and third person singular can also be combined as iblamikte, iblamikte, I will go. Ichani iblamikte, ichani iblamikte, I will go soon. Ilaninkte, ilaninkte, you will go. Doha ilaninkta he, doha ilaninkta ho, when will you go? Iyayinkte, iyayinkte, he or she will go. Doha iyayinkta he, doha iyayinkta ho, when will he or she go? Ichani iyayinkte, yeah. Ichani iyayinkta, yellow. He or she will go soon. And they use example of he to arrive to the present location. Wahi, wahi, I arrive here. Yahi, yahi, you arrive here. He or she arrives here. Hippie, they arrive here. Yahipi, yahipi, you all arrive here. Uhipi, we all arrive here. E, to arrive there, someplace else. Wa'i, I arrive there. Ya'i, you arrive there. E, he or she arrives there. Ipi, they arrive there. Ya'ipi, you all arrive there. Unkipi, we all arrive there. Glee, to arrive home, general location. Wagli, I arrive home. Yagli, you arrive home. Gli, he or she arrives home. Glipi, they arrive home. Yaglipi, you all arrive home. Unglipi, we all arrive home. Ki, to arrive home there. Waki, I arrive home. Yaki, you arrive home. Ki, he or she arrives home. Kipi, they arrive home. Yakipi, all of you arrive home. Unkipi, we all arrive home. And it says vocabulary, general place nouns. Owayawa, school. Masopie, store. Otumahe, town. Owacheke, church. Okuze tipi. Owote tipi, restaurant. Tipi, house or home. Additional vocabulary. Duktel, where is specific. Dokya, where is general. So duktel, dokya. Due is who. Ekta is to or at. Doha Doha, when in past tense. Doha. And then dohan. Dohan with the L at the end. Dohan. When in the future tense. Echani. Echani. Soon. Wana. Wana is now. Lehan. Lehan. Now. Ehani. Ehani in the past. Dokyani. Dokyani. Nowhere. Yanka. Yanka, to sit. To be. To be. Nakesh. Nakesh. Just now. Nahanchi. Nahanchi. Not now. So exercises, listen to the tape first and complete the remaining exercises. And we don't have the tape, but we're going to listen. Maybe that tape will turn on itself. Doki Allah, Doki Allah, where are you going? Owayowa, Dable. Yeah, Owayowa, Dable, yeah. Hello, I'm going to the school. Niatke ki Tokia yaya he. Niate ki Tokia yaya ho. Where has your father gone? Dokani tiata yankaya. Dokani tiata yankaya lo. Nowhere, he is home. Nihon ki Tokia yaya he. Nihon ki Tokia yaya ho. Where did your mother go? Where has your mother gone? Dokini tiata yankaya. Dokini tiata yankaya lo. And then we go to the next one, number 3. Wana masapia da lahe. Wana masapia da laho. Are you going to the store? No. Wana masapia da bla ye. Wana masapia bla ye lo. Yes, I'm going to the store. Okay. Number 4. Doha yahi he. Dohan yahiho. When did you arrive here? Nakesh wahiya. Nakesh wahiya lo. I just arrived. Otunwa he. Yahi he. Otunwa he da. Oh, excuse me. Otunwa he da. Yahi he. Otunwa he da. Yahiho. Did you go to town? Otunwa heta wa iye. Otunwa heta wa iye lo. Yes, I went to town. Here. Otunwa heta wa ishni. Yeah. Here. Otunwa heta wa ishni yalo. No, I did not go to town. My kolas on the hill probably know those ones. Here. Number 6, ina tohan glihe. Ina tohan gliho. When did mother arrive home? Ina nakesh glia. Ina nakesh glia lo. Mother has just now arrived home. And then another version is unchi tohan glihe. Unchi tohan gliho. When did grandmother arrive home? Unchi nahachchi glishni. Unchi nahachchi glishni. Hello, grandmother hasn't come home yet. By golly, takwe glishni. The next question: how come he or she didn't come home yet? Takwe glishni. Number 7, dwe oachekye ta yinkta he. Dwe oachekya ta yinkta ho. Who will go to church? Mitiblo ki oachekya ta yinkte. Yeah. Mitiblo ki oachekya ta yinkta Yeah. So my older brother will go to the church, and that's a female pronunciation. Dwe owota tipi yinkta he. Dwe owote tipi kta yinkta ho. Who will go to the restaurant? Chue wae ki owote tipi yinkta ye. Chue wae ki owote tipi ta yinkta ye. My older sister will go to the restaurant, and that's a female pronunciation. This is the conclusion of lesson 4. If you feel that you haven't mastered the material, you may stop the tape, and go back into the beginning of the lesson. Repeat until mastery of the material is achieved. So we finished that lesson. That was a good lesson. That took about almost 20 minutes, but that was beautiful 20 minutes of our life. Now we're at the end of a program. We got about 8 minutes, and I'm going to, as I promised, we're going to jump into some story time. And we're going to go as far as we can, as fast as we can, or I'm going to. So thanks for tuning in. It's really a good day. I enjoy doing this. And, school is going to start pretty soon, and we're all going to be on vacation. All of us parents, grandparents, we're all going to take a short respite, they call it. We're going to take a little bit of break because all summer the takojas and the kids are saying, I'm hot, I'm hungry. I want to go to town. I need some more batteries for my game. Come the internet went out. Go fix it. But we enjoyed it. We just enjoyed it. So the first one is called The Wild Buffalo Ride, and this is from the Indian reading series of title 7, I believe, bilingual program, and it's level 3, book 15. So if you have all these in your library, you can read along. And this comes from, I believe it's Blackfoot tribe. And there's a preface, little description in the front. This book is based on a true story told by old No-Coat to Francis Bullshoe Sr. The story is about Middle Person, a Blackfeet Indian woman in her early 20s, and the buffalo ride on which she went with her husband and other hunters. Middle Person was one of the wives of No-Coat, a great hunter. Many years ago, Indian chiefs had several wives. This hunt took place south of the Marias River and the Sweetgrass Hills in Montana about 1850. So this is a good story, and it was told orally, and then I think they captured it on print here, but we want to share that with you. One morning, Middle Person got out of bed and ran down to the creek for her early morning swim. The water was cool and fresh, and the sun was beginning to come up, and the morning air smelled good. A robin was sitting on a tree branch singing a happy song. Middle Person was feeling good, for today the hunters would go out for fresh meat. It would be dried and put away for the winter's food. The scouts who had been out looking for a buffalo herd had just returned to camp. They were ready to show the hunters where the buffalo were grazing. As soon as the horses had been caught and bridled, the men started on their way. Middle Person followed on her horse. Her husband, No-Coat, was letting her ride along with them on the buffalo hunt. Of all his wives, she could ride horseback the best. The riders rode to the top of a hill. They could see the buffalo grazing in the distance, eating the long grass. The hunters rode through the trees and tall grass until they were close to the buffalo. They started shooting arrows at them. The arrows frightened the buffalo. The buffalo, which hadn't been shot, stampeded away. Middle person got off her horse to help butcher the animals. No Coat helped her turn one of the buffalo so she can skin it. Middle person stood over the buffalo's back. Soon she felt a slight movement beneath her. She paid no attention. The buffalo must have rolled a little, she thought to herself. Before she knew what was happening, the buffalo was on its feet. No Coat, she called. Come and help me, come and help me. No Coat turned and started to run toward the buffalo, but the buffalo turned and charged him. No Coat turned around and ran for his life as fast as he could go. No Coat jumped on his horse. One hunter who saw what was happening called out to the others. They quickly jumped on their horses' backs and shouted to Middle Person to hang on tightly. One of the riders headed toward the buffalo. The buffalo turned and charged him. The hunters did not want to shoot the buffalo for fear that they would shoot Middle Person instead. They circled the buffalo to keep it from running away with Middle Person on its back. No Coat shouted, hang on tight, hang on tight. Soon the buffalo will tire from its wound. Middle Person hoped this would be very soon. Her hands and arms were beginning to ache from hanging on. The hot sun beat down on her and the buffalo. For about an hour she sat on its back, although to her it seemed like forever. Suddenly the bull fell. The buffalo fell. Immediately the closest hunter grabbed Middle Person while another hunter shot the animal. Everyone was relieved that Middle Person was safe. After the buffalo was butchered and the meat taken back to camp, Middle Person's relatives held a feast in her honor. Prayers of thanks were given to the Great Spirit for a successful hunt and because Middle Person had come home safely. Hechetuelo. And that's the Wild Buffalo Ride. The next one is KIPI Sun in Time, and it's Level 2, Book 14, Indian Reading Series, KIPI Sun in Time. And this is from the Kangi Wichasha, the Crow tribe. And keep in mind that it's from a different culture, different from ours, but I think we use similar strategy at that time. We live in teepees, so I know somewhere in our teachings, placement of our poles, when we set up a teepee, it's used to tell time. And so this is for your learning enjoyment. Again, this is a story about the teepee. In the old days, it was used as a calendar as well as a home. The teepee is the home. Respect it. It is your place. When something is bothering you, that is where you can go. Don't go in just anywhere. Use the door. The dead are taken out of the sides or the back door of the teepee. The dead can no longer walk and cannot use the door. That is why they are taken out of the back or out of the sides. Don't throw things on the teepee. Don't burn the teepee poles or the teepee materials. When you are inside, don't run and jump all over the place. The teepee is your home. Care for it. The teepee is your home. Respect it. In the old days, the Indians didn't have a tick-tock tin clock or a flip-flop paper calendar to tell time. The sun told the Indians the time. The sun, like the ground, water, air, moon, and stars, is always a part of this world. Some of the Indians who lived in teepees used the teepee poles to tell time. The teepee always faced where the sun came out. Today, we still pitch teepees. Like in the olden times, we make the teepee base. 4 poles are tied together and spread apart. Each pole leans on the other poles. The teepee material is tied to a 5th pole, which is directly across from the door. These 5 poles are important. When the sun appears and the door is open, the first sunlight hits the number 5 pole, which has a covering on it. Okay. During the year, the sunset moves around the teepee. When it is winter, the sun sets at the number 2 pole, which is on the southwest side. This is the shortest day of the year, December 21st. This is the time for storytelling, playing stick or hand games. Pemmican is made at this time. Each day, the sunset slowly moves towards the number 5 pole. Before it gets to the number 5 pole, the first flood comes and breaks the winter ice. When the sun sets at the number 5 pole, the days and nights are equal. This day is March 21st. The sunset moves closer and closer towards the number 4 pole. The leaves, flowers, baby animals, and birds come out, and it's time for the second flood. The sun finally sets at the number 3 pole on June 21st. This is the longest day of the year, and that's the northwest pole. Okay. About this time, the leaves get as big as they are going to get, and the snapping turtle babies have their eyes. With each day, the sunset moves back towards the number 5 pole. This is the time to make dry meat, to tan hides for teepees and clothes. Little boys stand guard and practice shooting magpies at the meat racks. When the nights become cooler and the choke cherries become ripe, they are crushed and dried to save for the coming winter. When the sun again sets at the number 5 pole, the days and nights are equal, and this day is September 21st. At this time, life rests. As the sunset moves towards the number 2 pole, leaves fall and first snow falls. This is how the sunset moves around the teepee to tell the Indians the time. And that was a story told by, I think it was Henry Wilbird is the author. And with that, I believe we're at the end of our program. So I really appreciate your time, and we'll see you again I will talk to you again next week. Wana miglushna mitaku pi wana miglushna cha tiata waganina asniwa king de lo na ke trokate ke okowashi hachkia lechi wa una ke wagla kikta cha he le ampetu washte hapo na takto khana ki he daya yushka hechi chumpo na ke he ogana le wopila tranke prelo ha mitaku ye uyase.